I'm 81 years old. My husband Robert and I just celebrated our 60th wedding anniversary. Everyone clapped. They called us relationship goals. They asked for our secret. I smiled. I nodded. I said all the right things, but here's what I didn't tell them. We wasted 40 of those. 60 years. I know that sounds impossible. How can you waste a marriage that lasted? How can you regret something that didn't end in divorce? Let me tell you something nobody wants to hear. Staying together doesn't mean you did it right. My name is Margaret. I married Robert when I was 21 years old. He was 23, fresh out of college, about to start his first job as an engineer. I was a school teacher. We had a small wedding, a smaller apartment, and enormous dreams. For the first few years, it was good. Not perfect, nothing ever is, but good. We laughed. We talked for hours. We made love like we meant it. Then life happened. Kids came. 2 boys, 3 years apart. Robert's career took off. My teaching job got more demanding. We bought a house. Then a bigger house. Bills piled up. Responsibilities multiplied. And somewhere in all of that, we stopped being Robert and Margaret. We became mom and dad. We became the mortgage payers. The soccer drivers. The responsible adults. We forgot we were also supposed to be lovers. Here's the thing about marriage. It doesn't die in one dramatic moment. It doesn't end with a big fight or a betrayal or a slammed door. It dies quietly. In 1,000 tiny moments of neglect. In words left unsaid. In touches that stop happening. In conversations that never go deeper than what's for dinner. And did you pay the electric bill? We made mistakes. 5 big ones. Mistakes that carved out the joy from our marriage and left us with just the structure, the legal bond, the shared address, the joint bank account. We're still together. But I'm going to die soon, maybe in 5 years, maybe in 10, and I'll die knowing we could have had so much more. So let me tell you what we did wrong. Not so you'll feel sorry for us, but so you won't do the same damn thing. Mistake number 1, we stopped dating each. OTS, the last time Robert took me on a real date, just the 2 of us. Planned in advance, dressed up. I was 34 years old. I'm 81 now. Do the math. That's 47 years without a date. We went out. Dinners with other couples. Family celebrations. Work events. But a date? Where he planned something special just to see me smile? Where I wore perfume and felt butterflies? Never. I kept waiting for him to ask. He kept waiting for life to calm down. The kids were young, then they were teenagers, then they were in college, then we were helping with grandkids, then we were too old, too tired, too comfortable in our routine. We told ourselves it didn't matter. We told ourselves that kind of romance was for young people. We were lying. Here's what happens when you stop dating. Your spouse, you become roommates. Polite strangers who share a bed and a mortgage. You forget what their laugh sounds like when they're truly delighted. You forget how their eyes light up when they're excited. You forget what it feels like to be chosen. I can't remember the last time. Robert looked at me the way he did when I was 25, like I was the most fascinating woman in the world. Maybe I stopped being fascinating. Oh, maybe we just stopped trying to fascinate each other. Don't do this. I don't care how busy you are. I don't care how many kids you have or how tight money is. Take your spouse on a date. Once a month. Once a week if you can. Plan it. Dress up, flirt, pretend you're trying to win them all over again, because you are. Every single day, you're either choosing them or choosing neglect. We chose neglect. And now we sit across from each other at dinner in silence. And I wonder who this old man is. Mistake number 2, we kept SCORE for 35 years. I kept a mental ledger. He forgot my birthday in 1987. I remembered that for decades. He didn't help enough with the kids. He worked late too many times. He didn't notice when I got my hair cut. He didn't appreciate how hard I worked, and I made sure he paid for it, not in loud ways, in quiet, poisonous ways. A cold shoulder here, a sarcastic comment there, bringing up old failures during new arguments, withholding affection. Withholding forgiveness. I weaponized his mistakes, and here's the sick part. I felt righteous doing it. I felt like I was standing up for myself. Like I was teaching him a lesson. Like keeping score was the same as keeping my dignity. It wasn't. Keeping score destroyed our intimacy. Because intimacy requires vulnerability, and you can't be vulnerable with someone who's cataloging your failures. You can't open your heart to someone who's keeping receipts. Robert stopped trying. Why would he? Nothing he did was ever enough. Every gesture was measured against past disappointments. Every apology was met with, yeah, but remember when we turned our marriage into a courtroom? We became prosecutor and defendant instead of partners. I'm 81 years old, and I can still tell you every time he let me down in our 30s and 40s. I remember dates. Details, exact words. You know what I can't remember? The thousands of times he showed up. The quiet ways he loved me. The sacrifices he made that I took for granted. Keeping score doesn't protect you. It poisons you. Forgiveness isn't weakness. It's not letting someone off the hook. It's refusing to let their mistakes define your whole relationship. Let it go. Whatever they did last month, last year, a decade ago, not because they deserve it, because you do, because you deserve a marriage that isn't haunted by ancient grievances. Mistake number 3, we stopped having sexy no. You don't want to hear about an 81-year-old woman talking about sex, but this is important. Robert and I haven't been intimate in 15 years. Maybe longer. I've honestly lost count. It didn't happen all at once. It tapered off. Once a week became once a month. Once a month became a few times a year. Then it became easier to just not. We were tired. We were busy. We were getting older. We had medical issues. We had excuses, and slowly we stopped touching each other at all. No sex. No lingering kisses. No hand-holding. No cuddles on the couch. Nothing. We became two people who lived in the same house but never made contact. Here's what nobody tells you. When the physical intimacy dies, the emotional intimacy dies too. Because sex isn't just about sex. It's about vulnerability. It's about saying, I want you, and you're still beautiful to me, and we're still us. When we stopped making love, we stopped making connection. I can't remember the last time Robert touched my face tenderly. The last time he pulled me close just because. The last time our bodies spoke the words our mouths couldn't say. And now we're too old, too distant, too afraid to bridge that gap. I sleep on my side of the bed. He sleeps on his. There's an ocean between us measured in inches. Don't let this happen. Don't let intimacy become negotiable. Don't let tiredness or stress or body insecurity steal your physical connection. Touch your spouse. Hold hands. Kiss them like you mean it. Make love even when you're tired. Especially when you're tired, because one day you'll be old like me, and you'll realize you spent decades sleeping next to someone you never touched, and you can't get that back. Mistake number 4. We prioritized everything else. Either kids came first, always. Then our careers, then the house, then extended family obligations, then church activities, then volunteer work, then hobbies. Our marriage, that came last. We told ourselves this was noble. We were being good parents, good employees, good citizens. We were sacrificing for the greater good, but here's the truth. We sacrificed our marriage on the altar of everything else. We gave everyone our best selves except each other. The kids got patient, engaged mom and dad. Our coworkers got professional, reliable employees. Our friends got attentive, caring companions. Robert and I, we got the leftovers. The exhaustion, the short tempers, the not now, I'm too tired. I spent 30 years putting my children first. I thought that's what good mothers did. I thought my marriage would just survive on autopilot while I focused on raising kids. DIDN single quotes D. By the time the kids moved out, Robert and I were strangers. We'd spent decades living parallel lives under the same roof. We'd forgotten how to be a couple. The kids are fine. They're happy, successful adults with families of their own. But you know what? They would have been fine if I'd taken a weekend away with my husband once in a while. They would have survived if we'd hired a babysitter and gone on dates. They would have learned something valuable watching their parents prioritize their marriage instead. They learn that marriage is something you endure, something that comes last. Your marriage should be your first priority. Not your only priority, but your first one. Because when it's strong, everything else gets better. Your kids thrive when they see parents who love each other. Your work improves when your home life is solid. Your whole life becomes more stable when your marriage is the foundation, not the afterthought. We got it backwards. And now our kids are grown, our careers are over, and all we have left is this hollow marriage we neglected for 6 decades. Mistake. #5. We never said the hard ings. Robert and I are polite. We've always been polite. We don't yell. We don't throw things. We don't have dramatic fights. Everyone thinks this makes us a success story. Doesn't. Politeness became our prison. Because we were so afraid of conflict, we never had the hard conversations. We never said, I'm unhappy. We never said, I need more from you. We never said, this isn't working. We swallowed our disappointments. We pasted on smiles. We pretended everything was fine when it wasn't, and resentment grew like mold in the dark. I've spent 40 years being angry at Robert for things I never told him about, for needs I never expressed, for expectations I never communicated. How was he supposed to fix problems he didn't know existed? He did the same thing. I found out 5 years ago that he'd felt lonely in our marriage for decades, and he never said a word. Just suffered in silence, assuming I didn't care. I did care. I just didn't know. We thought we were protecting our marriage by avoiding conflict. We were actually killing it, because the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. And that's where avoiding the hard conversations leads you. To a place where you stop caring enough to fight, where you just coexist. Have the hard conversations. Say the difficult things. Tell your spouse when you're hurt, disappointed, angry, scared. Risk the conflict. Risk the discomfort, because the alternative is what we have. A marriage that looks successful from the outside but feels like a tomb on the inside. The truth about 60 years people see our anniversary photos. They see us sitting together at family dinners. They see 60 years and they think, success? They don't see the loneliness, the regret, the decades of missed opportunities. They don't know that I lie in bed at night with my 83-year-old husband sleeping 3 feet away and feel completely alone. We're running out of time. Robert's health isn't great. Mine isn't either. We have maybe 5 years left together, maybe 10 if we're lucky, and we're going to spend those years as we spent the last 40, polite strangers who share a house and a history but not a heart. I can't fix it now. We're too old, too set in our ways, too practiced at distance, but you can, if you're young, if you're 25 or 35, or even 55, you have time. You can still change course. You can still choose differently. Date your spouse. Forgive them. Touch them. Prioritize them. Tell them the hard truths. Build a marriage that's not just long but also good. Not just stable but also joyful. Not just surviving but thriving, because 60 years means nothing if you're lonely for 40 of them. I'm 81 years old. I stayed married, but I wish I'd done more than just stay.